Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hello again, everyone, and good Tuesday evening. Andy Graham and Luke Robinson here with you with the latest edition of Sports Blitz Live. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us tonight. Give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind. We'll be talking about a little bit of everything tonight, of course. The Iron Bowl, as it was on Saturday night, I was there. Thrilling game, exciting game, incredible game. Ended up one of those that will go down in history. Obviously, Auburn on the wrong side of that, Alabama on the right side of that. We'll talk about that and for a good portion, I'm sure. But if you'd like to talk about that, if you got any comments, by all means, 256-234-6221 is our number here. You can also dial us up on the Sports Blitz Facebook page, that's Sports with a Z. The playoff poll is out. Hasn't really changed a whole lot, but Florida State back in the number 4 spot there. Georgia number 1, Michigan number 2, of course. Washington bumps up to number 3. Florida State, Oregon sitting there at number 5. Ohio State only drops to 6. Texas 7, Alabama 8.
Why is
How
Oregon,
about Missouri 9?
Why is Oregon at 5? Nobody's given me a good explanation. Texas and Alabama's strength of schedule is better. Alabama and Texas's big wins are better. Somebody tell me why.
Why
is it a surefire thing Oregon gets in if they win?
Because Washington's undefeated, I guess.
Okay. I mean, they'll have one loss to Washington and one win against Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, and then what's their other big win? Oregon State, who might be in the 20s now, I guess?
That's a good question.
I mean, this committee, I think, has done a really poor job of saying, hey, we want you to schedule tougher. I mean, if I'm Alabama and Texas, I'm like, I don't want to schedule Alabama and Texas again in the non-conference. Now, of course, they'll be in the same conference. But it doesn't bode well for Alabama because they next year they're at Wisconsin. The year after that, they have Wisconsin at home and Florida State.
Well, the way Wisconsin looks, that's a good thing.
It is, except Camp Randall's still Camp Randall, you know.
Not with this bunch.
Maybe not quite the same, but what I'm saying is if you're not going to count off for poor scheduling, why schedule anything but poorly in the non-conference?
It's a fair question. I mean, with a 12-team playoff, I mean, things are going to change regardless.
Well, they keep telling us that we want you to schedule tougher. We want you to schedule tougher, and that's what you do, and then you get penalized for it. I just don't understand.
Well, it's not done yet.
No, it's not done yet, but
a week to go.
They sure are painting that picture.
Well, yeah, I would tend to agree with Oregon at 5 and Ohio State at 6 now. So
I mean, shoot, I can even make the case. Oh, look, I know Ohio State can't win their championship in their conference, but at least they scheduled Notre Dame in the non-conference and played them on the road, and their loss, by definition of the committee, is a better loss than Oregon's loss. They lose at Michigan, who's 2, and Oregon's still ahead of them. Again, I get it. Ohio State has no path to the game anymore. I don't think. I don't think they do.
It'd have to be chaos, I would think.
And you know what? I'm kind of okay with that because the Big Ten hadn't been all that strong. The Ohio State didn't have a great strength of schedule. They had basically Penn State, Michigan, and Notre Dame, and it took everything they had to be able to beat a Notre Dame team that's
It turned out to be Notre Dame's not great. So basically Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State played each other, and that was it in the Big Ten.
Exactly. And, I mean, Notre Dame's not awful, though, and you got to give them credit, I think, for scheduling.
Going on the road, that's,
Well, I mean, in Oregon, you know where they played? Texas Tech, who just, by the way, got walloped by Texas this past weekend, and Oregon's still ahead of Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody just explain it to me. I'm just saying, I just don't get it. I mean, somebody just has to make it clear to me why that is.
I think there's a lot of people in the national consciousness and national media that think the Pac-12 is the best conference in the country.
I could have bought that a few weeks ago. I don't buy that anymore.
Well, whether you buy it or not, somebody else is buying it.
I understand. The committee's buying it, and that's all that matters.
All right. Obviously, we'll talk about something, the NCAA rivalry week as it was. The coaching carousel is in full spin. Texas A&M has a new coach. Mississippi State has a new coach. Mike Elko, I thought it was going to be Mark Stoops. Apparently, the fan base revolted. That's the way.
Tennessee, Greg Schiano
That's the way it works now, I guess. So,
you know what Auburn's thinking?
Twitter.
Where was our revolt 3 years ago? That's what Auburn's thinking.
Well, we didn't know enough about him.
Well,
that was the problem.
Y'all tried to revolt against Gene Chizik. Y'all had a one-man revolt at the airport.
That's true. Hey, we got a national title out of it, so nobody's complaining about that now. But that's kind of weird. But anyway, Mike Elko, hey, look, I mean, he did a great job at Duke, I thought. Comes back, he's been there before. He knows. I guess he's got connections there. So he's now the head coach at Texas A&M.
Did you see the press conference?
I did not.
You didn't see them? They got together and did the sort of like the Auburn swag surf thing at the press conference, like arm over shoulder.
I missed that one.
Very bizarre, very Texas A&M. And look, I'm pro Texas A&M.
Were the yellers there?
What now? No, they didn't have any of those. No good for nothing, where they do all this stuff.
Is that not an obscene gesture that they give?
When they do that, I'm always like, okay, I thought that meant something that's pretty awful.
I thought that meant something else.
Maybe it doesn't mean that in Texas or whatever. But look, I'm happy Texas A&M's in this conference. I mean, it's like having a really rich uncle in the conference that you don't see much, and they just contribute. You don't have to worry about them in the title games or whatever.
And they drink a lot.
But for the love of God, would y'all quit with all this stuff? I mean, it's weird. It just doesn't make sense. Google it. Go to the Texas A&M press conference with Mike Elko. I mean, I'm talking about grown men in suits, not students in the heat of the moment at a game. Grown men in suits who sign big paychecks with like 7 figures on them. And they're swaying, and they're holding each other, and they're swaying. It's bizarre.
Well, I mean, a lot of stuff that they do is bizarre. So, I mean, they're the kind of weird, like you say. Mississippi State's got a new coach, Jeff Lebby. He was at Ole Miss as offensive coordinator, been at Oklahoma as offensive coordinator. It's like basically hiring a younger Mike Leach. Is that basically what we're saying here?
Maybe, which makes it weird that Will Rogers is transferring out of Mississippi State, the quarterback, who I feel like he'll transfer somewhere in the SEC. The reason being, if he transfers in the SEC, he will set every record that you can set in the SEC for like all time, at least, career stuff. But if he transfers somewhere else, that it won't be that way. So I would assume I wouldn't be shocked I don't think Auburn's going to be where he goes. I think it'll be somewhere like Kentucky or I hate to say Missouri because I bet you their guy comes back.
Yeah, I would think.
But maybe a South Carolina, something like that. It would make a lot of sense for him to be in the SEC. And just look, as I said on our Locked On Bama podcast, I said you would want to come back and set all these records because if you have all the SEC, career passing record, career touchdown record, career completion record, whatever, even if you're no good at any other career, you can be an announcer. You can be an analyst. You can be a whatever because people will always announce you as Will Rogers, the leading career passer in the SEC. And it'll never be topped probably because we most likely won't have another year like COVID where everybody gets a freebie. There's so many records that are going to be broken career-wise because some guys that maybe aren't pros are going to get an extra year of college football.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, good for him, I guess. I'm a little surprised, like you, that he is transferring out, and he may not. I mean, he just announced it. The portal haven't even hasn't even actually officially opened yet. So, Mike Levy may talk about it. Mike Levy, saying May. Jeff Levy may not even want him. So there's that part of it too. High school football semifinals are upon us as well. We got the finals in 7A. We pretty much knew this, I think, when the season began.
We could have saved everybody a lot of time.
Thompson and Central Phoenix City going to get it on there at Bryant-Denny Stadium on Wednesday, next Wednesday, that is, December the 6th. But we'll might run down those if we have time later on in the show tonight. That's some interesting matchups there. Some kind of a local matchup that I'm really looking forward to, Reeltown and BB Comer. That's going to be, a phenomenal matchup. And more likely, the winner will take on Fife yet again. So that should be probably an interesting thing there in 2A. But we'll talk about these things much more. Whatever you'd like to talk about, by all means, give us a call again, 256-234-6221. Up against the first break in tonight's show. But when we come back, we'll dive in to the Iron Bowl. It was, again, one of the most memorable ones. We keep saying, as Auburn fans coming into this game, that we don't really have much chance. Then we play, as tight a toe-to-toe as we possibly can. And I don't know why we're surprised that keeps happening, but it keeps happening. In the last two times, it hasn't worked out, certainly for Auburn in gut-wrenching fashion. But I guess we can talk about it for as long as you want to talk about it, and I'll deal with it.
It'll be a while.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you, just getting started. On tonight's show, we are brought to you each and every week by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Wonderful place to have lunch or dinner right here in Alexander City. Got great food, great atmosphere, great people there at JR's Sports Bar and Grill. I highly recommend it. Celebrating 25 years here in downtown Alexander City. Go and check them out for lunch one day this week. All right, Luke, the Iron Bowl, again, were you surprised that, it was as close a game as it was?
No, I mean, I'd been telling people, I thought Auburn would definitely cover. We could go all throughout this game. I think we can. Here's one thing that needs to be pointed out. Because I've seen people on both sides say the officials, I've seen people say they've screwed them on both sides. Let me tell you something. I never want to see that crew again.
It was a poorly officiated game.
It wasn't just poorly officiated, like in the sense of not calling holds or not calling this or not. It was bad in terms of safety for the players. The missed face mask was egregious. Egregious. I mean, you can't miss that. You can't have all the guys miss that when the world sees it. The roughing, the personal foul that should have been, I think it was it Mike O'Reilly? I think it was, that was sort of hammering Alabama's punter when it was so far away from the ball, had nothing to do with anything. You got to call. There's a referee standing right there, and you don't call anything. There at the end of the game, when things got really chippy and both teams were grabbing each other's face masks and throwing punches, and Mike O'Reilly was right in the middle of that too. He sort of bulled his way in there. He actually got hurt. I think he hurt his arm. But you didn't throw a flag. Even offsetting penalties would have at least made a statement. There was a ref that got bowled over. And again,
it's a head ref.
Yeah, this would have. I understand that if somebody had been thrown out, it would. If you throw out one from each team, it hurts Alabama because Alabama plays this week. But I'm just saying, do what's best for the safety of the student athlete. And those guys were just horrible. This is the same crew that reffed the Alabama-Tennessee game last year. They were atrocious then, just god-awful. And they were atrocious now. I don't know why they keep getting work. That's how bad I think they are. I think they need to be, demoted as much as you can be demoted. That if their grades are anything other than awful, the SEC needs to look at their grading system. But now, having said all that, let's just get that out there that they were awful. And I don't think referees miss calls. I've said that all the time. By the way, let me also say this. For the 1,000th example, please get rid of replay. If you can't look at replay, if the CBS announcers, the world's looking at it, the head Gene Steratore or whatever, they all say, yeah, I can see a little green there. That's a catch. And then you say it's not a catch. That just tells me we don't need replay. You're going to screw up the call anyway. So let's not cost everybody 5 to 10 minutes of actual lifetime, and let's just move on. Let's just admit you're going to make a mistake. I can live with that you make mistakes. I can't live with when the video evidence is there, it is a reviewable play, and you still get it wrong. I can't live with that. I think that's screwed up. I think it screws up the momentum of the game. I think it screws up the spirit of the game, and it's just not a good look. I think it was just replay just doesn't work enough for me. They're not good enough at it.
Yeah, I couldn't. I looked up on the video board. They showed it. I thought, I didn't see. I couldn't see green. I couldn't tell, but it didn't look like his foot was on the white.
It wasn't.
Now if you could get a magnifying glass down there and look, you might find a blade of grass that was touching. I don't know. But the fact that it was one of those, they called it incomplete. If they'd have called it complete, it would have stood. If they'd called it incomplete, it was going to stand just because it was so close. But, I get it. I would have been upset. I would have wanted to.
I get it if it would have been a little closer. It wasn't close enough for that. That's an overturnable call. And they screwed it up. And, again, it worked out. My point is this. I've been saying this all along. Get rid of replay. Y'all don't know how to use it well enough. We're not good enough at it. Quit doing it. And it's costing – everybody's trying to take plays out of the game to reduce the playing time. You want to save time in a game? Get rid of replay. It screws up so much, and sometimes they review stuff that doesn't need to be reviewed. It's just obvious, but they're scared to make a call. Now, there's so many twists and turns in this game. There's so many ironies and coincidences and just funky stuff that's always in an Iron Bowl, which makes the Iron Bowl the best rivalry in all of sports, if you ask me, because this is the must-watch game. Yeah, the game between Ohio State and Michigan, it was pretty good, but it looked like times they were going in slow motion. Like, even that last interception, everything just seemed to be like, the Matrix, whereas Alabama, Auburn, think about this. I mean, it's the 10-year anniversary of the kick six, that one of the more iconic plays in college football history. Auburn's got a booth set up for buying 2013 memorabilia. Alabama comes in as a 14.5-point favorite. They score first. They shut Auburn out immediately, then go score, get them 3 and out again, gonna score again. And ironically, the one hold they call all night, which I thought was kind of the worst call, but it brings back a touchdown. Okay. And then you could tell the momentum switched on that play. And because if Alabama had gone up 14-0, I think things might have been a little different. But it didn't. It got called back. You play through it. And then it just felt like, Alabama could never – you look at the stats. Except for the rushing, Alabama sort of dominated. But they could not – and they won the turnover battle 3-0. And they were still down.
Yeah, those two turnovers really didn't.
No, they didn't. I mean, you're right.
Yeah, one turnover was huge. It counted for 3, though.
Yeah, but the other thing about the turnovers, here's another just weird Iron Bowl. I've never in my life seen the same player have an interception with zeros on the clock at the end of the half and in the game. Never seen that before.
No.
I don't know.
I've never seen 2 quarterbacks throw over the line of scrimmage.
3 times. Alabama, you rarely see it once.
No.
You saw it 3 times in this game. You rarely see.
And they were all legitimate. I mean,
they weren't even just legitimate. They were egregious.
Yeah.
Like they went 3 or 4 yards past it. And I mean, I remember when Milroe broke out for the 3rd down play before the infamous 4th and 31. I was thinking, okay, he's just going to get as far as he can get. He started backing up, and it was so confusing. Even I think Brad Nessler was like, I guess he's going to back up and try and throw it again. Like, can you do that? No, you can't do that. And Gary Danielson, I thought, sort of screwed up one time, too, because he kept saying, Auburn should have committed pass interference because it's different in college. It is unless it's in the end zone. Then you put it at the 2-yard line. I believe that's the rule.
In college?
Yeah. If it's in the end zone. I believe it would have gone to the 2. I'm almost positive of that. Now, there may be some referee listening that can tell me I'm wrong. But how about the other coincidence? Jalen Milroe wears number 4.
Well,
DJ James wears
pass interference would have still been better than
that's true.
Alternative.
DJ James wears number 4. That's who the ball was being defended by. It's 4th down, 4th and goal. Alabama's going for 4 in a row against Auburn. That's just a weird series of 4s to me. I mean, it's just this Alabama had a 3rd and 20 and a 4th and 31 on where did they get the ball? They got the ball, I think. I think the punt was muffed on the 31.
It was.
They end up back on the 31.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 31-yard drive that I think took 8 plays because they went forward on 4th down twice. That's incredible. I mean, it doesn't even make sense, and that's why this game is the best game. This is why this is must-watch TV.
No question. I mean, it was. I mean, the crowd was. I mean, the atmosphere was phenomenal. It really was. I've been to quite a few Iron Bowls in my time in Auburn. This one was. I mean, the crowd, because it started out good. But it built and built and built and crescendoed up until, I mean, the last moment. And then it was, it went from the most raucous environment, to just, it was everybody almost was just dumbfounded by the end of it. But we'll go ahead and take another break. We'll come back. We'll finish these discussions again. We'll continue to talk about this as long as you want to. More to come right after this.
We think.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Black Friday deals are here all month long at Opelika Ford. Get 3.9% for 60 months on all new 2023 Ford F-150s or 1.9% for 60 months on 2023 Ford Edges. Only at Opelika Ford. Black Friday deals are here all month long at Opelika CDJR. Get 2.9% financing for 72 months on new Ram 1500 or 15% off MSRP on new Jeep Compass. Only at Opelika CDJR.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. About 30 more minutes left in the first hour of tonight's program. Give us a call, 256-234-6221, or leave us a message on the Facebook page. We're brought to you each and every Tuesday evening by Sunshine Heating and Air. For all your heating and cooling needs, and boy, it's going to be cold out there tonight.
Still better than hot.
I would disagree. But either way, your heating and cooling needs can be taken care of by Kevin Keel and his crew at Sunshine Heating and Air. Give them a call today for all your needs. Talking about the Iron Bowl as it was, the game, I mean, you know, like you said, I mean, when it started, you know, Alabama went right down the field and punched it in, and then they got it back. And, well, I mean, Auburn went 3 and out, but, you know, they went – it just felt like at the beginning, boy, this could get away from us really quick. And then all of a sudden it just seemed like Auburn figured out, hey, you know, we can run the ball. And, you know, I don't understand it. How do you run for 65 yards against New Mexico State? How do you not move the ball at all against LSU, against Texas A&M, and then run the ball so effectively against Georgia and Alabama, the two best teams in the SEC? It doesn't make good sense, but for whatever reason, and I think it's partly and again, for whatever reason, I think familiarity, but Auburn's the one team in the SEC that's not intimidated by Alabama, especially at home. But Auburn's quarterback completed 5 passes the entire game, and they're in it. They've got the lead with a minute to play in the game. I mean, it's so bizarre.
Auburn really had about 3, maybe 4 nice runs and maybe 2 nice passes. And those are the, let's call them 6 plays. That's what had Auburn in it. And, I don't know what to say. I would say that part of it is Auburn, when they're at A&M, I think that game was bigger. A&M needed that win badly. LSU, I think what happened there for Auburn, you're asking why it didn't work out. Because I think LSU can get you in a shootout, and Auburn's not equipped to be in a shootout. And Auburn.
But their defense is so pathetic.
It is, but I think Auburn probably had to throw it more than they wanted to in that game to keep up. Or at least that was the perception, probably. Maybe if they had run the ball a little more, who knows. But then when it comes to Georgia and Alabama, I mean, it was Georgia's first real test on the road. Auburn was geeked up, and Carson Beck's first start on the road. So, I mean, I sort of discounted that. And then look at when it comes to Alabama, Auburn always plays Alabama tough there. So I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Now, when they go to Tuscaloosa, it's a different story. But in Auburn always plays them tough there. It's just the way it is. That game was such a good representative of the way the 2 seasons have gone, the way you think about, I know from an Alabama perspective, you have Jalen Milroe, and I've been on here saying several times that his ceiling is rising and his floor is remaining the same. The problem is there's still that same floor where he has mental breakdowns about crossing the line of scrimmage by 3 or 4 yards and then trying to throw it. I mean, both times, if he doesn't throw the ball, that first time where he throws it to Amari Knoblack, which, was a touchdown call back very rightfully, I think he could run it in for a touchdown. In fact, I thought he was going to, and I was like, you can't throw that, and he just threw it. And the second time, I thought he was at least going to get to like the 10, 15-yard line, and then Alabama would have one play from the 10 or 15, and you'd think it'd be better. Turned out it was fine just the way it was, but
I think we got a phone call.
Okay, let's go ahead and take it then. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Doing great.
Luke, I was wanting to ask you a couple of questions. I was wanting to take you all the way back to right before the season started, that last week of practice. Milroe threw a pass in practice to the left corner of the end zone that made everybody stop and go, oh, I didn't know he could do that.
I think it was to Ja'Cory Brooks, and I think Kool-Aid was defending it.
Is that the same pass that he threw to Bond?
Kind of, sort of. That wasn't the Gravedigger call, and I'd never heard of Gravedigger, by the way, until this. But I think it was actually a shorter distance, and that looked to be one of those, hey, I'm going to throw it to the corner almost immediately. You go get it if you can. And that, but it did show, what it did show was that, hey, Milroe can make these incredible throws. The problem is he can also make some throws that, I mean, the pass to Jermaine Burton, which I think was a completion, which I think replay should have showed was a completion. It should have been an easy completion, but he threw it way too high. Burton did a great job to go get it. What I'm saying is sometimes he can make an easy throw look very difficult, but on this particular play, I mean, how many other quarterbacks in college can make that throw from, I mean, he probably threw it from the 36, starts on 31, and you throw it the only place that Isaiah Bond can go get it and stay in bounds? How many people can throw that? That shows you Milroe's range of, he can be fantastic, but he can also be one of those like, what's going on here, bro?
Well, that leads me to my next question. If somehow Alabama can fantastically win it all and win the national championship, and Milroe's the MVP of everything, and his stock is as high as it's going to be, and he decides to go into the draft, don't you think he's going to be a combine phenom?
I think he certainly could be. It would be shocking to me if he were to come out. I've not seen a single pundit, mock draft, and I love the NFL draft, so I look at mock drafts all the time. I haven't seen any of them that even give a hint that he will be coming out, because I do think he has so much fundamentally to work on. Now, people will say, what about Anthony Richardson, who came up from Florida last year? I think the thing that was so intriguing about Anthony Richardson is he's almost even more raw, and I think that he doesn't know what he doesn't know. Milroe, I think, knows, okay, I want to be good in the pocket. You can see it. And when he's in the pocket, sometimes you're like, take off, go right now. And you can see he's almost making himself stay in the pocket when he should learn to trust his instincts a little more. I think his instincts are probably right. I know he wants to be a pocket guy. He's been very insistent, and the proof is there. When he was in high school, he was a pocket guy. But he is such a weapon with his legs, it's almost like he doesn't trust them yet. And once he does that, once he learns to trust them, then I think that he's going to be a much better pro prospect. Is he going to be the same kind of prospect Anthony Richardson was? I don't know. I mean, it seems to me, honestly, now maybe it's because Milroe has better talent around him. I think Milroe has performed better than Anthony Richardson did last year, and Richardson went, what, number 3, number 4? So, I mean, I could make a case for Milroe being drafted. I certainly could, but I'm not a scout. I'm just telling you that I look at mock drafts all over the place, and I haven't seen anybody mention Milroe potentially coming out.
Well, now that Alabama knows what they have in him, if they are lucky enough to get him back next year, I do think you'll see a lot more running from him and a lot more better game plans designed to help him be more successful. Guys, I got to go. I'm headed to the Alabama-Clemson basketball game. Have a good night.
All right, buddy. Pull him through and stay warm. It's going to be cold.
I will. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, buddy.
Hope it gets a break. We'll be back with more right after these messages.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We are in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Frontline Outfitters provides all your aftermarket parts for your cars, trucks, and as well as your professional tinting solutions for auto, residential, and commercial buildings. Frontline Outfitters also handles vinyl wraps, spray-in bed liners, truck accessories, LED lighting, paint correction and detailing, and much more. Make sure Frontline Outfitters of Alexander City is your first call for tinting and aftermarket solutions. Call us today, 256-409-8100.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Talking about the Iron Bowl, talking about everything going on in the world of college athletics as well. College football playoff poll is out. We mentioned Georgia, Michigan, now Washington and Florida State, the top 4 teams. Oregon on the outside looking in. You got Ohio State behind them. You got Texas behind them. You got Alabama behind them. All right, Luke, let's talk about some scenarios here. It looked, Michigan's going to beat Iowa. That game will probably be closer than you think.
Because it'll be super boring.
But Michigan's going to win that game. Florida State and Louisville. Louisville gets beat by Kentucky, but Louisville could definitely knock Florida State out.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. Florida State was basically beaten by Florida. I think Florida had some really bad mental lapses in terms of getting some unsportsmanlike penalties or whatever. I think they spit in somebody's face or just something
Well, they
stupid.
knew about knock the quarterback's head off in a time when when they were going to get the ball back.
It's so stupid.
They're not well coached. They hadn't been well coached all year long.
Look, I don't want to go off on a tangent. One other thing we could talk about is the 2024 schedule. Some of the big games have come out, and wow. But you look at Florida's schedule next year. And you think about, Tennessee and Georgia, and they've got, I believe, Ole Miss. They've got Texas. They've got UCF. That's no cakewalk against Gus Malzahn. They've got at Florida State. They got Miami at home. I don't. 4-8 would be a hell of a run next year for Florida. Their schedule is brutal. So, I don't know who's out there that you could go and get. Ironically, maybe Jimbo Fisher. But if you were at Florida, I think the Billy Napier experiment is just done. Just look, I've been wrong a gazillion times on here. But I was pretty right about Zach Arnett. You can't be a dude that comes in with no plan offensively and you're taking over a high-powered air raid offense. And, man, he just also, he was non-existent. Nobody knew who he was.
Yeah.
And they fired him, and they needed to. They go get Jeff Lebby. Okay, that's interesting. But if you're going to get Jeff Lebby, and if you're Texas A&M and you're getting Mike Elko, that tells me it's not a great year to be out there hiring coaches. Texas A&M would have overpaid for somebody really good, and I don't know that there are a ton of options out there right now. Who do you look at and go, that's my guy?
Well, I don't. That's a good question, and I think a lot of teams are asking that question, or a lot of these lower class division teams. Syracuse is maybe the best job left out there. I don't know.
No, they hired Georgia's defensive back coach.
Did they really? Okay, they knew they were looking at him. Back to Florida State. If Florida State wins, and if they beat Louisville, I don't know how you could keep them out, though, right?
I know how you could keep them out. You just say if the goal is
no. I'm not talking about opinion now. What's going to happen?
They're not going. I don't think they'll keep them out.
I don't think they'll keep.
But the problem is, whoever they play in that one game is a give to me. It's a layup, and it's that's not.
Well,
right.
they'd be the 4.
They'll be the 4, and that's what I'm saying. If they played Georgia or they played Michigan, which I assume would be one of those two, it'll be a whitewash.
So, Washington, Oregon. You got the winner of that game. Right now, Oregon's a 9-point favorite in that game, I think.
Right, 9.5. And, me personally, I don't necessarily think.
What does that muck up? Does the winner get in, or does that?
I think it depends on the game, but I would not. I think what you have to do is say the only way you can look at this is, all right, me personally, I believe the winner of the SEC title game gets in. If it's Georgia, it's no-brainer, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
Michigan, let's assume they win. They're not going to lose to Iowa. They're in. Then you have essentially a threesome of – if Washington wins, they're in, okay? But then you could have Texas, Oregon, Bama, in the end, Oregon would be out if Washington were in, obviously, so it comes down to Texas-Bama, assuming Texas wins, which I don't know that that's a give to me, but it's pretty close to it. And there's going to be a big debate, and it's just the way it is. And people are going to be like you, the head-to-head matters more than anything. People are going to be like me, the body of work matters more than anything. Alabama's best win will be, pretty doggone good. It'll be the best win you can get. And then their other big wins will also be pretty big. I mean, LSU's done with their season, and they're 9-3 now. I don't know where they ended up, but Ole Miss is done with their season. They're 10-2. They're in the top 10. And Tennessee finished ranked. I don't know exactly where they finished ranked, but they did finish ranked.
Is there a scenario where Michigan wins, Oregon beats Washington, Florida State wins? So you got 3 teams. Alabama beats Georgia. Is there a scenario that you could foresee where no SEC team gets in and Texas gets in that 4th slot?
Not really. I think they'd probably leave Oregon out.
You think they'd leave Oregon out?
And I think they should. But now, because Oregon, it's body of work. Now, the problem they've set themselves up with is Texas would now have to pass Oregon, having played a lesser opponent in their conference championship game when Oregon was able to avenge their loss. That's my take on it. That's why I've been saying all along, Oregon should be behind Texas and Alabama. They should definitely be behind Texas. They should probably be behind Alabama. That's my take on it. Alabama's body of work is better. Texas's body of work, I believe, is better. Texas also went out of their way and scheduled somebody difficult in the non-con, and Oregon didn't. And I think you need to get penalized for that. And there were some Oregon writers, when Alabama was playing Chattanooga, oh, I hate this. Well, you know what, Oregon? You played Portland State. Did anybody out here know Portland State had a team? We at least know. Terrell Owens went to UTC. We at least know that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think Dan Fouts went to Portland State, now that I think about it.
News to me.
Sure. Somebody did. One of those quarterbacks did from a gazillion years ago.
Okay.
But regardless, I just think that Oregon could be the one left out, which would be wild because they've been ahead the whole time. But I'm with Feinbaum here, and I know Feinbaum's sort of a shill for the SEC. You leave the SEC has been the one stalwart in this thing, especially Georgia and Alabama. They've been the pillars of the college football playoff. And you're telling me you're going to leave them? I mean, I could almost make a better argument that Georgia and Alabama should both get in if it's a close game and Alabama wins versus neither one of them get in. I mean, if the argument is put your 4 best teams in there, how do you not?
See, that's what I thought about today, and that argument was brought up. We got to take a break, but if Alabama beats Georgia, if it's both or neither, I mean, is that what it comes down to? Do they both get in or neither get in?
Well, I think it depends on the way the game goes. We did have Tamara Truitt ask about Ohio State. I don't think Ohio State's got a path anymore unless it is mass chaos.
Yeah, unless Iowa beats Michigan.
If Iowa were to beat Michigan and Louisville beat FSU, I think you could at least say, okay, let's figure out a way to get them in. I think they're at 6 right now, and that's probably close to their ceiling. They might be able to get to 5, but I don't see it would. But even if Iowa beats Michigan, why wouldn't Michigan get in over Ohio State? Michigan beat Ohio State. Neither one of them won the title. If the argument is get one of them in, you're going to penalize Michigan for playing in the title game?
Then I think Alabama,
Oh, Alabama would be a 2 seed.
Then I think Georgia gets in with a loss.
Oh, yeah. And that,
so,
look, here's the thing that we're all, and this is why I'm not sweating it. I'm not sure Alabama can beat Georgia. I'm as big a Bama homer as I just don't know. I don't feel great about it. I want to have some faith, and of course I will come Saturday. I'm being very objective here, saying I think Georgia's the best team in the country. And I think it's going to be a tough ask for Alabama to go in there and continue to have mistakes like they had against Auburn and or do something like they did against Tennessee and get down 20-7 at half. You do that against Georgia, you lose.
Man, that's for sure. I think that's true. All right, got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
It's truck season at Sarah Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month at Sarah Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at Sarah Honda, Tony Sarah Ford, Sarah Nissan, and Sarah Chevrolet.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry? The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider. Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted. Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Lewis Pest Control is now serving Alexander City and the entire Lake Martin area. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. Whether it's residential, commercial, or industrial, Lewis has environmentally safe products for all your pest control needs. Lewis Pest Control.
Lay your best to rest. Call the best. Lewis Pest Control.
Let Riverbank and Trust open doors for you. Whether you're purchasing land, a lot by the lake, or building or buying a home, begin with Tallapoosa County's loan experts. They'll guide you through the entire process, providing local decision-making, prompt responses, and the best real estate loan solutions for your unique needs. And in most cases, Riverbank and Trust can close your loan in 30 days or less, and they'll walk by your side every step of the way. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. We invite you to experience it for yourself.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you, and we'll go right to the phone line.
Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
James, how's it going, my man?
Look here. Luke, I love you, man. I love this show. But we got to quit with this SEC bias, man. Oregon has looked the best team the whole year out of every team in this whole country. And we can go by schedule. Y'all can go by anything you want. They play just as great a schedule from the eye test, from what I see with my eye, than in Alabama, Georgia, anybody in this SEC. And I'm a SEC homer, but if Florida State win, they in. If Oregon win, they in. Now I may agree with you if I don't know who you're going to take out. If Alabama beats Georgia, I think one of them should be in. But now here we go talk about two of them should be in. Come on, guys.
No.
I love the SEC, but this is not the old SEC, man. This is a Ruder-Poo league. This is a two-team league now. And when Oklahoma and Texas get in here, it'll be four-team league. LSU and Tennessee and Florida is not back yet. Once they come back, then it'll be the old SEC. But this is not the same league that we used to seeing. So it's not like we that head and shoulder above everybody else. Oregon has been playing the best football all year, and if they got in, everybody would be scared to play Oregon. So I love the SEC, but let's not get even Greg McEnroe. Oregon ain't playing nobody. Why they the best one and all team? I see them. Everybody see them when they out there. Oregon State and them can come play in this league. Even Washington State can come play in this league. So not like, just like you say, you look at the NFL draft. How many players Alabama and Georgia gonna have drafted number one this year? I don't see none. To be honest.
Oh, Alabama will at least have 3.
I see this.
Alabama will at least have 3, 100%. Maybe 4 with Terrion Arnold if he leaves.
I see the tight end for Georgia.
Definitely.
That's it. Who else you see that gonna be drafted number one?
Kool-Aid, J.C. Latham, and Dallas Turner will all be in the first round, 100%. He may have hung up. I think he did hang up. Yeah. But, those 3, every mock draft I've seen has those 3 in it. And then Terrion Arnold, I would make the argument he's playing better than Kool-Aid. He's incredibly athletic. I think he could go in the first round. I don't want him to leave. I'm just saying I think that he could go in the first round. So, yeah, I think that you're going – and in terms of that, I mean, I don't know if the NFL draft is the argument people want to use, because I would certainly stack up the SEC versus everybody else. Oregon, I know Bo Nix should go in the first round. At least most mock drafts have him there. But who else for Oregon? And I agree, Oregon's looked great at times. They really have. But, again, they also get to play Arizona State. I know Arizona State pretty well because my son goes there. It's awful. It's just not a good – Arizona beat their brakes off. I don't think Oregon even played Arizona, who's one of the better teams in the Pac-12 this year. And so they didn't even get to play the upper echelon of their own conference. And again, James, you're saying
they did play USC. They played
USC's not any good.
I know that, but that's the upper echelon of their conference.
Okay, but I'm saying
they played Washington. They played USC.
They played Washington and lost to them.
They did by a last-second field goal.
They had the ball last, and they beefed it up.
They did.
So again, I'm fine with. I understand Oregon's in the discussion. I have no problem with that. And, in fact, I think this is the problem with showing these rankings every week, because you fall into the trap of an AP voter. And that's not what they're supposed to be doing with this. They're supposed to be saying, these are who we think are the 4 best teams. Now, of course, you can't just say, for instance, LSU is one of the best teams, even though LSU is probably very dangerous, whatever. You can't just put them at number 4 right now. They do have 3 losses. That counts. All this counts. But I think it's not just a simple mathematical equation either, and it's not just an eye test. It's a combination. And so I have no problem with Oregon certainly being in the discussion of all this. But I think what we need to do, everybody chill out. Let's see how it shakes out at the end of this weekend, and then we can all have our debates. Because, again, we're doing a lot of ifs right now. If Oregon beats Washington. And by the way, if Oregon's a 9.5-point favorite now over Washington, what does that say about them losing to them in the first place?
Well, I mean, Washington is undefeated. If Oregon beats him by 2 touchdowns, I mean, why should this one game? You need to look at the whole body.
Agreed.
You don't need to just base it on one game, but that's what it's going to come down to. I mean, how these games go, and that's going to affect, and it's just human nature. If Oregon beats, let's just say Washington, I'm not sure they will, but let's just say they beat them by 2 touchdowns. They're going to say absolutely. The Oregon's one of the best. They're playing the best right now, and they're going to. I think they're going to get in the playoffs.
I think they'll get in the playoffs too. Okay, because right now I also feel like Georgia will probably beat Alabama. And James, as far as I'm not advocating for 2 SEC teams in, I'm saying I personally. If you told me what has the greater chance of happening, 2 SEC teams or no SEC teams in, I would say I would lean 2 SEC teams in. I'm not saying 2 should get in. I think this is the beginning of a playoff. And again, this is why I love the 4-team playoff versus the 12. Everybody else wants to say, or not everybody else, because it was funny. I heard some national pundits on the way over to this show saying, you know, I've been screaming from the rooftops for 12 teams. And he goes, because they keep telling us it's going to make all the games more interesting. He said, I won't really care if Iowa and Minnesota are playing for that 12 seed. I won't care. I still won't watch it because it'll still be bad football. And he said, this has been a lot of fun trying to figure out. And that was my whole dead gum argument.
Well, just because it's fun to figure out, that doesn't mean teams that deserving to get in don't get left out and that they get screwed.
If you put in 12, it does mean teams that don't deserve to play for it will get
Well, I mean, so they're on the periphery. So you 12 and 11 get in. Who cares? That means that 5 and 6 got in, and they deserve to get in.
I care. I think
7 get in.
It waters down everything. But whatever, it's done, and so we're going to deal with it. And it helps Alabama, so I'm not really complaining about it. It means Alabama will probably get in more often than not. Now, considering Alabama's schedule next year, we're going to need a 12-team playoff. So, yeah, I'm fine with it. But point being that I don't know how you can – and again, James, you know I love you, James. But I don't know how anybody can look and say, yeah, I think if Georgia and Oregon played today, I'd pick Oregon. I wouldn't. I'd call me a homer, call me whatever. I think Georgia's the best team in the country. I think they prove it every week. If Oregon and Michigan played, yeah, I think it'd be close. I think that I could probably take Oregon in that sense.
We keep talking about scenarios, but this may very well turn out to be the first 14 playoff with 4 undefeated teams.
Could.
I mean,
Washington,
why not
FSU,
go straight?
Georgia, and Michigan?
Yeah. I mean,
and I'll tell you what,
don't move.
Here's the other thing I'd say about that. That's the least quality combo. FSU is they're not the team that started the season.
But they've earned their way in there.
Again, that's where we get into semantics.
Yeah.
I don't think earned their way in there. I think you got to also factor in, if you don't have Jordan Travis, that dude they got their quarterback in is fine, but he's not great.
We'll carry this over to I got something to say about that. Okay. We'll carry this over to the next hour. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Sports Blitz Live, hour number 2, right after this.
GillsOpelika.info. Get pre-approved in minutes online at GillsOpelika.info for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is serving up all your favorites: shrimp and grits, po' boys, tacos, seafood platters, and so much more. Don't miss out on our famous loaded fried green tomatoes. Wharf Casual Seafood is located on Highway 280 next to Regions Bank.
The Alabama Slammer. It's a popular drink at parties, but drink too many and you'll wind up in this Alabama Slammer. And if you drink and drive, get ready for a real Alabama Slammer. If you're involved in a crash where a driver's been drinking, you're 4 times more likely to die.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Gorees Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, hour number 2. Andy Graham and Luke Robinson here with you, taking you up to 9 o'clock this evening. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. Brought to you each and every Tuesday evening by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air, among many other wonderful sponsors on this fine program. Luke, you were talking about we were talking about the playoff, and you were talking about Florida State, and of course, losing Jordan Travis. And that's one reason, the committee needs to factor. You said they need to factor in, maybe they do factor in injuries and things like that. I have a bone to pick with that. Look, we love to talk about football being a team game, and we love to talk about, buy in, everybody do your part. And we're all going to, we're all going there together and all this stuff. That's what football's all about. That's what they preach. I fully understand, and I fully get that Florida State is not the same team without Jordan Travis. But there's 50 other guys on that team that have poured their blood, sweat, and tears into this season and got them to this undefeated mark. And they're not the same team. They're not as good as the same team. But I don't know. I just have a problem with punishing those guys because of a freak injury to the quarterback. I know it diminishes them. I understand it makes the game worse. But I just can't. I feel bad for those guys. I feel like I can't. I feel like you don't need to punish them because of an injury.
I think injuries are part of the game in deciding who is going to be in the playoffs, just like Keontae Scott has a bum shoulder for just a minute. Corey Moore, who happens to wear the same number, goes out there, muffs a punt. If that doesn't happen, Auburn probably wins.
Well,
I mean, again, I think injuries are just part of it. And look, it may not even factor into it. But I'm just throwing out – again, and you can't just use Las Vegas lines. I understand it's a whole series of things. It's a whole amalgam here that you have to look at everything and say, well, look, if Florida State gets in, in theory, you're giving that first team a bye. I mean, when we all had a fit, Cincinnati did everything they could. Let little Cincinnati in there. Alabama toyed with them. They didn't even – Alabama went out there and played – mid-level game, not their best game, not even close to what they played against Georgia. And just Cincinnati had no shot. And we saw it. There was no shot.
Yeah.
And I just think that, look, we want to find out who the best team in the country is. We also don't have the luxury of all the teams playing equal schedules. So I think you have to factor in who tried to play a little bit of a tougher schedule. Who is the most healthy coming into this? And the other argument for what you're saying is...
Well, Florida State played LSU.
They did, but they played them with Jordan Travis.
I know that.
Okay. But the other argument for what you're saying, and this is where I think some people could say, well, what about Ohio State? They came in there with Terrell Pryor, and they played so much better and whatever. But I think they also see he got to play in the Wisconsin game where they blew Wisconsin's doors off. And it was also a unique situation because the Big 12 at the time, if you remember, didn't have a championship game. And since the Big 12 was so adamant, we're not declaring a champion, it's a split championship. They said, all right, we're not giving you either one of them the spot.
Yeah.
And had they just named, I think it was Baylor that year that beat TCU, but Baylor had another loss in there somewhere. If they just said, you know what, Baylor's the champ, Baylor would have gotten in. I 100% believe that. But they gave the committee an out. And so when you have an injury like this, I think they were the same blood, sweat, and tears that you're talking about. Somebody's always going to have blood, sweat, and tears that's not going to work out. Pat Dye's, his famous quote everybody's been saying over and over this week is, sometimes you're going to go out there and lay your guts on the line and it's not going to work out. All you can do is go out there and lay your guts on the line again. That's all you can do. And, somebody will talk about the blood, sweat, and tears of the number 13 team when we have a 12-team playoff.
Well, there was a difference in that. That was a game played that you lay your guts on the line. This is they have played. They have won the games. They are undefeated. They have done everything that everybody's asked them to do. And now you're going to say, well, your quarterback got hurt. You don't count anymore.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not saying you say that. I'm just saying this idea in principle bothers me.
Because what I'm saying is the objective of the committee is to get the 4 best teams. And
is it?
Yes, that's what they say all the time. It's not the 4 most deserving necessarily and I think both terms are very ambiguous. Is Florida State super deserving? Because it's a different team without your starting quarterback. It's a completely different.
Trust me, I know.
Quarterback
I've been down the road many times.
Most important position in sports. And again, I'm not trying to say Florida State should not get in. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying we should all wait till after this weekend. Look, if Georgia wins, they're in. Nobody has any problem with that. If Michigan wins, they're in. I don't think anybody's got any problem with that. Everything else kind of is up for grabs. If Washington wins, they're in. Yeah. I think those 3 things happen. They're surefire.
Yeah.
Everything else, I think, is kind of up for grabs, including Florida State winning. Because I'll tell you something. If the 4 fighting for it are Alabama, Oregon, Texas, and Florida State, who do you think Florida State, without their starting quarterback, would beat out of those other 3? Name a team.
None.
Okay. And you're saying that shouldn't count. And I'm saying I think it should count. I don't know how much. And I would understand if you voted for Florida State. I would get it. To me, this is just like the debate I'm having with Brett Pritchard and Randy Lee about Bo Nix versus Jaden Daniels. I get if you want to vote for Bo Nix. I get it. But don't tell me I'm crazy because I want to vote for Jaden Daniels. His stats are better. He's only played 14 total fewer plays. Brett and Randy love to talk about Bo hadn't played in the second half. Total plays, Jaden Daniels only played 14 fewer total plays. And his stats, he's got 880 more yards. That's a lot more yards. And he's got 1,000 yards rushing.
Let's quickly take this.
Caller, you're on there. Go ahead.
Hey, got a quick question. Luke, I love you. All right, Luke.
It's a love fest tonight.
If you go by the best team, man, it's going to be the 4 best team every year because they got all the 5 and 4 stars, man. You can't just go by no best team. But I got a quick question for you. And then I'm hang up on this. If there are 1 spot left, does everybody want to, go down on Florida State and Oregon if Oregon beat Washington? If there's 1 spot left and you got Alabama, Texas, and Georgia for that 1 spot, who will you give it to? And I hang up and listen. Thank you.
Thank you, bud.
I'll let you think about that. We'll take a break, and you can come back and answer that question.
I don't even need to think.
I think it'll be a quick one. We'll be back with more Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SUSCC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
If you're looking for something to do in the Lake Martin area, you have to go to Liquor by the Lake. Liquor by the Lake is not only the best place to pick up your hard-to-find liquors and craft beers, there's a bar. An awesome bar serving up specialty cocktails and martinis. And the best bushwhacker and creamsicle drinks at Lake Martin. Make plans to come out for happy hour Fridays from 7 to 9 with half-price beer and cocktails. And there's live entertainment on Thursdays. You can even watch the Alabama and Auburn games and Sunday and Monday night football. Liquor by the Lake, located on Highway 49 in the Big Fish Complex near Stillwaters. Open at 1 every day but closed on Wednesday. Come see us.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
It's truck and SUV season at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. If you've been waiting to buy, the time is now to save big. Heavy discounts on Chevrolet and GMC 4x4s, crew cabs, loaded and lifted, gas or diesel, half tons to 1 tons. Loads of new and used models, over 200 on the ground or on the way to Glenn Smith. Don't wait, call now. Get the best deal on your new truck or SUV at Glenn Smith in Opelika and get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. We left you on a cliffhanger. Question from James. If it came down to, and I've asked this question, we've had this argument, Texas, Georgia, and Alabama with 1 spot left, and I'm assuming that means Alabama beat Georgia, obviously.
Well, they would have to.
So
now,
who do you put in?
First of all, let me correct myself, because one thing I said earlier, if Georgia wins, they're in. If Michigan wins, they're in. Washington wins, they're in. And then it comes down to, that last spot. Alabama wouldn't be involved anymore because they'd have 2 losses.
Right.
So, I said Florida State. It'd be Florida State, Texas, and Oregon. And actually, Oregon would be out.
Yep.
Right? Because they'd have 2 losses.
Yep.
So it'd be just Texas and Florida State. And then you ask me, I'd lean Texas. But I could understand if we're just going, hey, undefeated Power 5, you got to. I'd get it, but I would do it biting my tongue because I think Texas would be the better
Texas
team.
missing their running back.
They are, but they're not missing their quarterback. I think this, and also I think we've also seen Texas's backup quarterback ain't shabby. He's pretty doggone good. And this guy that was quarterbacking the other night didn't look all that great. So anyway, if it comes down to Georgia, Bama, Texas, all with 1 loss, who goes? It's difficult because even if Alabama were to have beaten Georgia, I could make the case Georgia is arguably still the better team, but I think you would obviously have to lean Bama there. Now, Bama or Texas beat Alabama on the field. That is true. That's 100% that happened. Alabama's body of work will then be they will have beaten Ole Miss, who'll be probably in the if they do their rankings again, they'll probably be in the top 8 because Oregon or somebody would move behind them. And they will have beaten LSU, who, in my opinion, has the Heisman front runner, and they'll be in the top 12, top 13. They will have beaten Georgia, who was number 1. And they will have beaten Tennessee, who's going to be in the top 20. Texas doesn't have that resume. And, Texas will have beaten Alabama. But I think the fact that you're choosing – it'll be easier for the committee if they're choosing among Bama, Texas, and Georgia to pick Alabama out of the bunch, saying, okay, which one is the best and most deserving out of that bunch. It'd be easy to pull Alabama out of that bunch rather than if it just was Texas and Alabama, because they might not be able to get over the hang-up of Texas beating Alabama on the road. But if Georgia's in that mix with them, which they'd have to be if Alabama were to beat them, I think that would give them an out. Sort of like the same out they had when Ohio State was in that grouping with Baylor and TCU. And since nobody would declare TCU or Baylor a champion, even though Baylor had beaten TCU, I think they decided, okay, the easiest thing to do in this case is take Ohio State, the team we think is probably the best among the three. And that's what they did. And I could see that happening. I could see it being Texas. I think in this particular case, yes, there'd be an opportunity for Georgia to still be in there. But I think the pecking order would probably go Alabama by a little bit, Texas very close behind, Georgia a pretty good bit behind third, but still with a chance. That'd be my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, you know how my feeling. I mean, I can't even. It makes it incredibly. If Alabama wins, I bet. To be perfectly honest, I bet the committee's rooting for Georgia.
Oh,
because they don't want to have to make these kind of decisions. But I can't even, fathom it that Alabama and Georgia could get left out if Alabama wins that game. But my feelings about Texas.
It does make it fun, though. I mean, I know, and again, you're hung up on the one game thing, and I get it. I understand it. It's an easy thing to be hung up on. I'm saying that I think if you get into a room and everybody's open-minded about it, if you're closed-minded about it, you have no shot. But if everybody gets in there and they start talking it out and say, okay, well, let's actually look and see what everybody has done here. And if it comes down to, look, I think Texas and Alabama are essentially tied, I'm going to give Texas a nod, fine. But if you're like, Alabama's resume is a pretty good bit better than Texas's, which I think it would be if they were to beat Georgia. Again, it's all dependent on Alabama beating Georgia. If Alabama doesn't beat Georgia, all this is moot. And frankly, right now, I don't think they will. The spread has gone from Georgia 4.5 to Georgia 6. The world seems to be betting on Georgia. And I get it. I think Georgia's the better team.
I'm sure they were betting on Georgia 2 years ago, too.
Yeah, Georgia was a favorite. But I think Alabama had a better grouping of weapons. I mean, you have Jamison Williams and John Mechie, two guys are in the NFL. Bryce Young, who's number one pick, and now they've got Jalen Milroe, who can be awesome at times. I love him, and I'll tell you something. Jalen Milroe is the most lovable of all Alabama quarterbacks. I mean, Bryce Young was the prince. I mean, like literal prince, the guy, the singer. He just was super cool. Everything he does, he's cool. Mac Jones is sort of like, okay, he's sort of the hard-working, blue-collar guy you feel like. Tua was just, gunslinger, and Jalen Hurts was a super hard worker, keeps his head down, never says anything guy. They all were somebody you could put your arms around in a different way. Jalen Milroe is the most Bammer of them all. Every interview he ends with a big roll tide. The other ones don't do that. I mean, he's got a school spirit about him that most Alabama quarterbacks haven't had of late, even though they've been awesome. And so Milroe is just he's really a cool dude. He's just different. He's sort of childish or got this childlike quality and this infectious smile. But he's not Bryce Young. Bryce Young was different, And Alabama doesn't have I love Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond's now going down in Daniel Moore lore, but I don't think Isaiah Bond's as good as Jamison Williams or John Mechie. Do you?
No.
Or Ruggs or Judy or Devontae Smith or, on down the line? Waddle?
I don't think – well, I didn't think Georgia was as good this year, and I'm still not sure that they're as good, but I think they're a little bit better.
Call you on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Lou.
Hey.
I hate to spoil the party tonight, but –
You can't spoil my party, baby.
Alabama's going to beat Georgia.
You think Alabama will beat Georgia? That wouldn't spoil my party. I'd have a party.
I mean, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think Bama's going to win 45-42.
Wow.
Have mercy on all of our souls if that happens.
Hey, and I'm going to tell you why. Because everybody's doubting Alabama. Everybody doubting Alabama Saturday night against Auburn.
I'm going to tell you something, and I get where you're coming from, and I know that you feel like everybody's doubting them because of what I'm saying right now. I feel like it's almost Alabama's going to come in overconfident because you know what everybody's talking about is if Alabama beats Georgia, then what? Everybody's so worried about them getting left out that they're not looking at what's right in front of them, which is a colossal monster.
That's right. Now, I've heard the bowl picks, they got Alabama playing, I think, Washington in some kind of bowl.
Well, I've seen the bowls I've seen. Alabama could potentially be playing Washington. You're right. I've seen Alabama potentially playing Oregon, and I've seen Alabama playing. Please, Lord, no. Tulane.
Where's Auburn going to be at? Is Auburn going to be in Birmingham?
No, Auburn can't. Auburn's not going to go to Birmingham this year. Andy and I were talking about this earlier. They'll probably go Music City, Duke's Mayo Bowl against Duke.
Yeah.
Not me.
I'm going to tell you, y'all do a great job on Tuesday night. And I like watching y'all. I mean, I like the show, and but I think Bama's a good football team.
I do too. I don't want you to think I don't.
And I care about Alabama 100%. But I was nervous Saturday night. And y'all have a good night, Luke.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, and appreciate you listening. I'll tell you. Have we got a second?
Yeah, quick one.
Well, we got all the time in the world. Just back up all the commercials.
Got more time than I got money.
Let me tell you something. So I don't know how many people are out there like this, and I really have not been nervous about Alabama games of late for years because I've had the opinion. I think I've made it pretty clear on this show. I'm like, we've had so much success that if we lose a national championship, it's not like it's a gut punch to me anymore. I'm like, we'll be back. We'll get them next time. The Iron Bowl is different for me. I grew up right here in Alexander City. Most of my friends were Auburn fans, and I was sort of catching on to football about the time Pat Dye was doing his thing. So every time I went to school, it just sucked. There I am crying, and everybody else jubilation and whatever. And so I want to win the Iron Bowl as much as anybody. And this game just makes me I don't enjoy playing Auburn. I wish we didn't play them in anything. I don't ever want to play them again. I don't like it. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. I don't even enjoy the wins as much. I did enjoy this win a little more. But my point, what I'm saying is, so I start out, I had 2 kids in from Ohio, my son in from Arizona State, my 7-year-old that lives with us in Birmingham, whatever. And my wife, my 7-year-old, and my other daughter went to a friend's house. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. I just want to stay here. It's going to get nutty. I get nervous, and people start talking. There might be some Auburn fans over there. Can't deal with them during this game. I just can't do it. Well, we're up 7-0. My daughter texted me and said, come on, people are asking where you are and we're winning, so come on. I said, all right. I said, but the problem is we're winning because I'm here. If I go over there, we might start losing. First thing I do when we go over there, we get that holding call. Then Auburn goes out and ties it up. And I said, see y'all later. So I left. Then at halftime, we're winning again. My daughter texted me and said, look, why don't you and Truitt come on over here? And now I said, all right, I'll give it one more shot. Go back over there. Of course, next thing you know, we put a great drive together and ended with a field goal. Next thing you know, Auburn's got the lead again. And I said, by this time the party had grown, and some cars were blocking me in. And I said, I went outside like in a huff. My wife was like, you're being ridiculous. My daughter was like, you're being ridiculous. I said, my wife can say that, and not much I can say to her. She's right, and you're right too, but you're my 16-year-old daughter, and you need to know your place. Daddy's going to get stressed out. And so I came out, and I said, hey, I don't know who's got this Volvo and this GMC, but somebody's moving. Or I can scratch your car. Either way you want me to go, I'm getting out of here. And so I left, and there were some people that were like, you are being nuts. Like, you really think you have anything to do with this? I said, you know what? In 1989, Alabama's playing Penn State, and we made my mama sit in the car and listen to the game on the radio. It was on a perfectly good television on CBS because that was the only time we were ever doing good. And there was a whole bunch of us, and she did it willfully, thankfully, and gratefully, and we ended up winning. So I'm going to go home and see what happens. And I go home with my son, and I've said this a million times. My son has Asperger's. It's on the autism scale, so he's not very, social, like kind of guy. Every time I talk to him, I'm like, I love you, buddy, and he says goodbye. That's I never get a lot of love yous back, but I'm okay with it because I know about it. And in this game, and again, he's an Arizona State guy. He loves the Philadelphia Eagles. He's not into Alabama as much like I am. When Jalen Milroe hit Isaiah Bond for that pass, he and I jumped up and had the best embrace I've ever had with him in my life. And it was just one of those things I'll never forget. And but I think it all happened. And you're welcome, Alabama fans, because I went home.
Oh, there you go. Up against the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today. Lake Area Realty at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Just a few more segments left in tonight's show. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. This is going to be a quick segment here.
Since it's going to be a quick segment, let me give a little update on the ACC-SEC Challenge. Syracuse waxed LSU 80-57, and Mississippi State, I mean, they just got ranked. I should have known this. They get ranked, and they go to Georgia Tech and lose. Georgia Tech already had 2 losses. They're not a good team, but Mississippi State looked putrid tonight. But South Carolina did beat Notre Dame. It looks like Kentucky is going to take care of Miami, who's ranked number 8, and Kentucky is going to beat them by at least 20, 30 points. I mean, they are just waxing them right now. And then Missouri on the road at Pitt has a 5-point lead. So good for Missouri. And my point, and Ole Miss has an early 19-9 lead. So, I mean, this bodes well for the league so far that, I mean, I know LSU lost, but LSU's not going to be very good. No. Mississippi State's a bit of a surprise, but everybody else doing well for the league.
All right. And Alabama sits off about now?
About right now against Clemson. Okay. That's going to be a tough one. And Clemson's good.
All right. I'll give you look. High school football playoffs or 80s movies bracket. We got.
Let's do 80s movies bracket. Look, at high school playoffs. You can go check AL.com.
Okay.
Everybody wants to know who we rank.
This is true. All right, this goes back a couple of weeks here. The 80s movies bracket. This is a list that listed the top 16 80s movies of all time. Again, I don't agree with the list. This is their list, but I thought it was good because it created some interesting matchups.
Did this list leave Florida State out or something? Is it?
Not yet. All right. Just as a review here, we had a 1-16 matchup with Blue Velvet and Airplane. Airplane won.
That was a blowout.
That was a blowout. They take on the 9 seed, so you got a 16-9 seed here. 9-8 seed was Raging Bull and Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing moved on to the second round.
Yeah, and there'll be a lot of people that want to go the other way with that, which I get, but Do the Right Thing's pretty iconic.
Neither of those movies belong on this list.
Agreed.
But I digress.
Do the Right Thing also gave us Fight the Power by Public Enemy. I got to give them extra points.
That's true. All right, the 2-15 matchup was Blade Runner and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Fast Times moved on.
Easily.
Raiders of the Lost Ark and Empire Strikes Back was the 7-10 matchup. I put my foot down, and even though I love Empire Strikes Back, I had to let Raiders move on because that is such a – it's not in the – number one, it's the first of the
Agreed.
It's a standalone. Without Star Wars and Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back is not as good. So you need the trilogy there. All right, in the 3-14, E.T. versus Stand By Me. I actually kind of wanted Stand By Me, but I tip my hat to you. E.T., I understand it has to go.
Well, when you say Stand By Me, more people are going to think about the song than the movie. When you say E.T. Phone Home, everybody.
That's true. It's true. Aliens versus Die Hard in the 6-11. This one was tough.
This one pissed me off, by the way.
But Die Hard moves on.
Aliens would have been, by the way, there's going to be a new Alien movie, and I just saw it's actually going to be set in between the first Alien and the Aliens movie. So even though Aliens is the sequel to Alien, they're going to squeeze a movie in timeline-wise that's in between.
Are they sending the people there? Is this going to be
Maybe this is when they colonize, yeah.
Oh, no.
That'd be scary.
Goodness.
God knows, that movie's so good. Aliens is so good to me.
It is really, really good. All right, in the in the 5-12 matchup, we had Ghostbusters and Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club moved on. That was a tough one.
What are you saying? Breakfast.
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast.
Breakfast.
What you're reading is a bracket. Are you combining brackets and breakfast?
Breakfast? You don't say.
Nobody says breakfast.
Sure they do. In Alex City, they do.
No, they say breakfast.
I say
Look,
breakfast.
my children make fun of me because I go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. They go, it's Monday, Tuesday. I'm like, that takes too much work for us. We ain't got time. We go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And they said it's Saturday. Like,
you say Saturday, and you're getting on me for saying breakfast.
You say Saturday. You say Saturday.
I say Saturday.
Saturday. I mean, D. We end up with D, not day.
No, you said Saturday.
Saturday. Well, I mean, I put a little oomph on there for effect on my story. But it's not breakfast. Nobody says breakfast.
Everybody says breakfast.
Nobody. There's not a soul outside of you that says breakfast.
That's why I'm unique. 4-13 matchup is The Shining versus Road Warrior. The Shining
won that,
or The Shinning, if you prefer. All right, so thanks for wasting our time, Luke.
Can't help it. That needed to be corrected. Right. You can't go on with life doing that.
And yet I will. All right. How about the 16-9 matchup? That's a no-brainer again. Airplane's going to destroy, do the right thing.
Airplane at 16 is so criminal. I mean, it's like putting Duke at the 16 seed.
I didn't. It's not my list.
I know it's not your list. I'm just saying I'm mad at what, Rolling Stone?
I think this is some internet.
Okay,
well, I don't know.
I'm mad at the internet.
Yeah, you need to be. That we both agree on that easily, right?
Yeah.
All right. These get tough from now on. The Breakfast Club and The Shining, 12-4 matchup.
I want to give it to the Breakfast Club just to hear you say it wrong the rest of the time. But I'm going to give it to The Shining because it's pretty awesome. I love The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club is great, and it is so 80s. The Shining, I think they're going to remake The Shining.
They've already remade it.
But I mean, I remake it as a movie.
They've had a sequel to it. Which
you can't even remake The Breakfast Club because nobody does detention. Do we even have OCS anymore?
No, I don't think they do. But it's such an iconic movie. I mean, it's the quintessential teenage movie.
Yeah, but The Shining is also.
The Shining is.
I would say more people know
is,
The Shining than know Breakfast Club.
Oh.
Yeah, I would 100% believe that. I mean, here's Johnny with the axe and the, it's pretty awesome. Again, I personally would probably prefer to watch The Breakfast Club, but I think if we're talking about best movies and what was most popular and what should move on, I think it's The Shining. I will let you. I mean, if you're adamant on the Breakfast Club, go for it.
We might have to let somebody else vote on this.
Somebody call in, tell us Breakfast or Shining.
Breakfast Club or Shining. All right.
Breakfast.
Let's take a break, and then we'll be our break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs. Or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you, doing the 80s movies bracket. Many of you voted, and it looks like the percentages are going to say Shining moves on.
I know it breaks your heart.
I love The Breakfast Club. All right, the 15-7 matchup is Fast Times and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I'm going. All right, I want on the record. I would have done Empire Strikes Back, but because it's these two, I'm going Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, I would do that as well. I love Fast Times. I
love Phoebe Cates.
I love Phoebe Cates, but just such a great movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. All right, and then the 11-3. This Die Hard versus E.T.
This is a no-brainer for me.
Really?
Die Hard. Best Christmas movie of all time. Nakatomi Tower. I mean, Die Hard spawned...
John McClane, yippee-ki-yay.
Die Hard spawned so many other Die Hard movies, and some of them just aren't very good, and I can't not watch them because I love me some John McClane so much. And you talk about something that does break your heart is that, he's dealing with so many health issues right now.
Yeah.
And he's never going to be...
He's done.
But
right.
Man, boy, the original Die Hard, holy cow.
That's as good as it gets.
It's so good. And the villain,
Hans Gruber.
But I mean his real name.
Yeah, Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman was amazing. And he's dead.
Yes, he is.
He died hard.
He fell out of
out of a what?
He fell out of a...
If you were going to say a building,
he fell out of a building, yeah. Now, Johnson & Johnson, no relation. I mean, that's a good line,
Yeah.
Agent Johnson.
Yeah. No relation. That is a good line. And the Full House cop.
Yeah, eating Twinkies.
Eating Twinkies and having dead bodies dropped on his car.
The guy that looks like Huey Lewis that was, in the gang.
Oh, right. God, he did look like – I mean, why was he there? That was the most random – it's like they called – they got to America. We need one more henchman.
That's right.
We need
Do you have anybody that looks like
We need to be
Lewis?
more diverse and inclusive. We need an American henchman. Who's the most American look-alike guy we can get?
Well, he had to run the booth, the welcome center.
Desk,
so yeah, maybe they needed somebody.
And remember the Asian guy broke in. And when he first got there, he started eating some of the stuff from not the cafeteria, but the little candy stand or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie's so freaking good.
It is good.
Oh, and it is a Christmas movie. I'll die on that hill.
All right, so next week we got Airplane versus The Shining, and Raiders of the Lost Ark versus Die Hard in an interesting 16-4 matchup.
This is going to end. I know
and
how this
a
is going
7-11 matchup.
I know how this is going to end.
I feel like I know where you're going with this. Yeah. So we'll push that to next week. Only got a couple of more minutes left in this segment, and then we'll have one final one. Some predictions. We got some conference championship games. Appalachian State and Troy in the Sun Belt. At Troy, who you like? Troy is a 6.5-point favorite.
Troy.
I like them.
Sure.
New Mexico State at Liberty.
Well, Liberty's undefeated.
Liberty's undefeated. They are a 10-point favorite in this one.
Well, Liberty has played nobody.
No.
And let's just ride this Jerry Kill train, baby.
I mean, how do you bet against them, man? They're on a roll for sure. Miami, Ohio versus Toledo. This one is in Detroit, Michigan.
Makes sense.
Ford
two teams
Field.
From Ohio playing in Detroit.
Toledo's 11-1. Miami of Ohio is 10-2.
I'll go Toledo.
Toledo's favored 7.5. Boise State is at UNLV.
God, that's a game I love.
Boise is a -2. 7-5 versus 9-3.
Look, I'm going to take UNLV because back in the day when I used to do more gambling for entertainment purposes only, we always took UNLV at home. You don't bet against Vegas.
There you go.
And you always took Hawaii at home. And I'm going to take UNLV at home.
All right, SMU, our buddy Rhett Lashley, 10-2 this year, got SMU back to a conference championship. At Tulane, Tulane is 5.5-point favorite.
Newly minted ACC member, SMU.
Yeah, how about that?
I'll go Tulane.
Yeah, they're pretty good, I'll admit. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll run down these major conference championships right after these messages.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
This fall, nobody beats Martin's Sports Pub for Lake Martin's best sports experience. Martin's all-star lineup of cold beverages and pub fare food can't be beat, with the region's best wings, burgers, and signature dishes. At Martin's, you always have the best seat in the house for all college and NFL on our multiple 360 view TV and huge projection screen with surround sound. See our pigskin scoreboard weekly to win big money and let our all-pro teams serve it all to you at the place we all win. Martin's, Highway 34, Dadeville.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Running down the rest of these conference championship games. Quickly, Luke, Michigan versus Iowa. Michigan, 23-point favorite.
The over-under is 24, too. I like Michigan big.
Yeah. Oklahoma State is versus Texas in Arlington. Texas is a 14.5-point favorite.
You know, I get the feeling Oklahoma State's going to make it a little closer. You know, but let's not forget, Oklahoma State lost to South Alabama big time earlier this year.
Yeah, they did.
And I think,
and they almost got beat by BYU, who's not very good.
I also think it really hurt Texas. Oklahoma State's there with 3 losses versus Oklahoma, who if Oklahoma State had not been able to come back against BYU, it'd be Oklahoma against Texas, which I think the world would have appreciated more.
Yeah. Louisville is versus Florida State in Charlotte. Florida State's only a 2-point favorite.
I'm going to go ahead and say, I think Florida State's going to win, but I'll say Louisville just because that makes everybody's life a little easier.
Oregon versus Washington. Oregon's a 9.5-point favorite. This one in Vegas.
I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to pick Washington. I really am. I just think Washington may be the better team. And, you know, I know they've sort of middled about a little bit, but I think that
they've been waffling here.
I feel like Washington's also been in some tighter games, which helps them. I mean, Oregon sort of crumbled down the stretch a little bit in that last game. So I'm going to go Washington in a shocker.
Okay. And all right, Georgia and Alabama. Georgia is an early 6-point favorite. I guess it maybe started a little bit lower.
Started at about 4.5, 5.
Moved to
Back
6. In it, hot Atlanta.
I know. And
3 o'clock.
Alabama's undefeated in this venue. Alabama hadn't lost to Georgia in the SEC title game. Honestly, everything about my head is telling me is Georgia's going to win this game. I'm going to pick Alabama by 1 because I'm going to go straight homer. But honestly, I think Georgia wins. I'm going to pick Alabama officially.
Okay.
But for the record, I want it to be known, unbiased Luke is saying Georgia wins this game and maybe by double digits.
Really?
I'm worried about it. I really am. I
think it's a bad matchup.
The problems I saw against Auburn were things like our linebackers look slow, and somebody like Deontay Lawson, who he's coming back from injury. He looked a step slow. Jalen Key looked a step slow to me. Jaheim Otis got hurt in the game, and when he went out is when Auburn really started having some nice running plays. We need Jaheim Otis.
Said McClellan may have a foot injury.
Jason McClellan, now, that doesn't affect me quite as much. Jason McClellan is Alabama's leading rusher, yes, and he does a lot of little things very well. He's a good pass blocker, nice receiver, things like that. You know, he had that nice catch against A&M earlier this year. But, you know, Roydell Williams is the one we give it to when we got to get a yard. I think Jam Miller is more explosive. And, frankly, I'm ready to see some of the new guys like Justice Haynes. Wouldn't it be ironic if Justice Haynes, son of Vernon Haynes, were to put a hobnail boot in the nose of Georgia?
That's his son.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
He's the one that caught the touchdown against Tennessee many moons ago, and Vernon Hayes says, we just stomped on their face with a hobnail boot. We just broke their nose.
Broke their nose. Stepped on their face.
That's his son, yeah. And so, I mean, it came down to Bama and Georgia, and he ended up signing with Bama. And I love him. I mean, when he gets out there, he can play. But it's about, pass protection sometimes. And Alabama's all – look, Caden Proctor just won SEC Freshman of the Week. He didn't give up a sack against Auburn. And he's – this is a guy that was getting beat routinely at the beginning of the year. He's certainly come on. Georgia's just a different animal. I mean –
They aren't that. And they can run the ball too, so that's – and they can throw it.
Look, nothing would – as my co-host on Locked On Bama said, let's just go out there and win it and then be disappointed that we didn't get in rather than lose the game and say they weren't going to put us in anyway. And I said, I'm with you. Let's go do it. Ho! Let's go brack their hearts.
Yeah, there you go. It'll always be breakfast to me. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. He's Luke Robinson. I'm Andy Graham. So long for now, everybody. We'll talk again soon.
Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor wants you to know we appreciate a great year from all of East Central Alabama, and now our inventory of superior zero-turn mowers from Spartan and Mahindra tractors is on the move. Shop Lake Martin Tractor for outstanding deals, finance rates as low as 0% and low payments. Spartan mowers as low as $84 per month. Mahindra four-wheel drive tractors and loader packages as low as $399 per month, including cutter, box blade, and 20-foot trailers. Spring into 22 at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor, Highway 280 in Alexander City, or online lakemartintractor.com.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Have you met your local farmer's insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
So you want to build a home,
Build the home you want with America's Home Place. Choose from over 150 floor plans, then personalize. Tile backsplash with granite countertops? Done. A spacious bathroom you've always dreamed of? You got it. Choose every detail, floors, cabinets, even the paint color.
How about electric lime?
Can't decide? Relax. At America's Home Place, we take care of it all. It's your home. Own it. America's Home Place.
It's truck and SUV season at Glenn Smith Chevrolet, GMC, and Opelika. If you've been waiting to buy, the time is now to save big. Heavy discounts on Chevrolet and GMC 4x4s, crew cabs, loaded and lifted, gas or diesel, half tons to 1 tons. Loads of new and used models. Over 200 on the ground or on the way to Glenn Smith. Don't wait. Call now. Get the best deal on your new truck or SUV at Glenn Smith in Opelika and get ready to smile.